I love this area of the Okanagan Valley. We are heading south from Penticton along Highway 97 towards Oliver and Osoyos, and right now we're passing by Vassal Lake, a relatively small and shallow fishing lake with a lot of bass, largemouth, smallmouth. There is crappies, sunfish, all sorts of different fish camping along the shores. And at the end of Vassal Lake, very shortly, is Oliver. That's where the agricultural area starts. Now, one of the things that we just noticed as we're driving along here, looking across the lake, is that there were a lot of trees that were red, rust-colored. And these trees have been attacked by this pine beetle. And the area, because it is very hot, very arid with little rain, is known for forest fires. And now with the pine beetle damage, it's just going to make the situation worse. The scenery is beautiful, but that wasn't what attracted the first settlers to this area. And I should correct that, the first European settlers. The area was settled for a long time before the Europeans arrived. But when the Europeans arrived, it was about agriculture. Back 100 years ago or so, people started clearing the land and growing orchards. In parts of the Okanagan, there was even tobacco grown. So it was all about agriculture. And that's one of the reasons we keep coming down this way also. Cindy has a dehydrator. And she wants to dehydrate onions.
Cindy, she go mad. She wants to get onions for dehydrating. I'd rather get something like apricots. Apricots would be good.
We see things different. I like cherries, apricots, fruits dehydrated. Cindy wants to do things that are healthy. Now, like I said, agriculture was the big industry in this area. And it continues today. It's just that it is changing. It has changed.
The people in this valley, all the way down to Osoyos, do not want a national park in this area. So they got all these big no national park signs posted along because, hey? Yeah. No, if we don't get lucky on the way at the further ones and on the way back again, but he's got cherries for sure. He is open, and there's other stuff out there too.
We've bought cherries there before too. But anyway, as I was talking about all the signs against a national park, there's been some talk by people involved in the environment who want to make part of this area a national park to preserve its unique character. But there has been a huge pushback from a lot of the agriculture and ranching industry in the area. Of course, having a national park would put imposition or impose regulations on water usage, land usage, all these different things. So of course, there's a huge pushback. Ironically, even though people don't want a national park, Oliver has been chosen as a site for a new prison. And there's going to be a large prison built here. So it kind of, it's okay to have prisons, but we don't want national park. We don't want a park. And yet the park is probably the most long-term sustainable economic entity. Because generations to generations, people can come and enjoy it. It doesn't go away. It doesn't change.
Trail mix?
She found a device in the home hardware that her little grandson Carson, who was 3 years old, took him into seemingly like a hopper. I didn't see it. And you just turn the handle, and it pops out the cherries, and it's all
pitter.
Size me.
$1.34.9 for regular gas and $1.33.9 for diesel.
Hi, kitchen.
Yep.
Way out there.
For sale, 39 acres. Now, one of the things that we're noticing coming down by Oliver is that there's a lot of you-pick cherries, and a couple of things with that is that, well, you don't have to have pickers, and they might not even have any pickers. There might be a shortage of pickers around, and we haven't stopped to inquire about what the prices are for you-pick, but usually speaking, they're quite a bit cheaper. We've seen it here for 75 cents, 65 cents per pound for U-pick.
And half the price out.
Yeah. Yeah, later on they probably will. Yeah.
$1 U-pick and 75 for U-pick.
So Sunday, July 7th, they have a cycling event, 9 a.m. to 3 p.m. along here. And Oliver is the wine capital of Canada. There's a lot of winers here. See, it says that, wine capital. So this is where all the winers live, and they whine about everything. Everything. I mean, it's not just the weather. I mean, they whine about heat, they whine about taxes, they whine about, you name it. They're whiners. I guess it's not whiners, it's winos. Yeah, we've got a lot of winos living in Oliver. It's probably the start of the desert area of Canada. And imagine, in all of Canada, there's only one place that has a true desert, and that's down here in the South Okanagan. And agriculture has destroyed much of it.
Yeah, what a shame that, down in the States, a whole tour travel thing would be built around an asset like that. And up here, it's let's just get rid of it and put in vineyards.
Yeah, I don't mind them having, like vegetables and all this sort of stuff. Agriculture, I mean, we do have to eat, but the wineries, it's just alcohol. It's just alcohol. Yeah.
You haven't eaten that yet?
No.
I don't have anything against wine. My dad, European, he makes his own wine. Usually buys grapes imported from California.
Up at the footlong hot dog place. Town of Oliver Municipal Hall. Archives.
But the thing here in the Okanagan is that we do have precious little land for agriculture. And that in the long term, I think we're going to have a much higher need for all the different fruits and vegetables that we're supposed to eat for a healthy diet than for wine. I mean, wine they make everywhere.
Well, a lot of seniors like the smorgasbords. So, yeah, well, we do.
You're much older than I.
Oh, man, I tell you.
Truth be told, yes, I do like Chinese smorgasbord. I can go for that weekly.
Little old motels, they've been around since whenever. Yeah. Yeah. $5,000 for that van for sale. Oh, there was a Ferrari in there. I have no idea, but it was a white Ferrari. Was it 458 model, a new one? So.
My family and I first moved to Merritt, British Columbia back in the late 60s, and we used to come down into this area to buy fruit in the summertime. And what's really interesting is that a lot of the things here haven't changed since the 60s. The houses, the motels. I can recognize stuff that goes back decades. Just like that, we have arrived in Osoyos.
We are in Osoyos, and Cindy wants to go to Home Hardware for I don't know why.
Cherry
She's saying
pitter.
it's got stuff in there. We're in the back alley of Osoyos now. They're going to be working on this, you can tell, obviously. And but just we get around and enjoy talking to people, and one of the things I've said so many times is that these areas are full of seniors, and that's completely accurate. I mean, it doesn't matter if it's Osoyos, Oliver, mostly Penticton, Summerland, Peachland. There's a lot of seniors, and it's not a negative thing. It's just a factual thing. It's a pretty little town. That one's pulling out, I think, the black car. And he's good. So Cindy is playing a quick one on me. She wants to go to Home Hardware, but she forgot her purse at home. So I had to give her my wallet. That's a sneaky way to do things, eh? It's windy, July 5th today, and like I said, all these little towns they're peaceful, they're quiet, but it's just so much elderly people.
Now, I keep justifying that I don't have anything against elderly people. Man, I'm just about there myself. A few more years and I'll be a senior citizen. But that said, the problem with elderly people is that they have the stuff in their life that they already need. They have house, they got car, they got clothing, they got furniture, they got all these things. As a matter of fact, in the Okanagan, many of the elderly have moved here from elsewhere and are relatively well off, which means that in the fall, they depart for their summer home down in Arizona, Palm Springs, California, in Florida, wherever. They head south for the winter. So they're not really contributing that much to the economy. But at the same time, if they have any medical issues, they're back in Canada or they're at home because we have universal health care. It's a very touchy situation. But like I said, I don't have anything against seniors, but it doesn't really fuel the economy. And what was really interesting for me, waiting for Cindy at the hardware store in Osoyos, was that I was listening to BBC Radio, and they were talking about a problem that's arising in Europe because of the huge youth unemployment. In Greece, almost 3 out of 4 kids are out of work. And in Spain, Portugal, Italy, 40, 50, 55% youth unemployment. What's happening now is that a lot of the young people and a lot of the young educated people are leaving the country looking for opportunity in Northern Europe, North America, wherever. They're leaving their homeland, they're leaving their villages, their towns, their cities, looking for opportunity. Understandable. They need it. They need to work. But now what the fear is that in 10, 15, 20 years, as the population ages in those countries, their future, the future that they've been counting on, the young people coming in to take the jobs, are going to be gone. And it's the young people that are starting out in life who might be looking for a new house, new apartment to rent, buying a new car, a scooter, clothing, appliances, everything. They drive the economy. So when they're gone, it's not a good situation. And remember, when the young people go, they're taking their kids with them. So there's a whole generation that is moving away. Like, I love BBC, and they have such insightful programming. And this was, like I said, Saturday, July 5th. I'm out in the car waiting for Cindy, listening to the radio, and it was just, like a light bulb coming on. So these are things that will impact us even in the Okanagan. Because as some areas which are strictly for retirement, start feeling the pinch of the economic conditions, meaning that there's less people able to sell their homes for a high price and retire at their dream destination, it's going to be harder to sell the homes. And there's a whole slew of effects and issues to be talked about this, but nobody wants to address it. Even now, many in city and in business think that everything is just going honky-dory, and 10, 15, 20 years down the road, there'll still be like all these new people moving to the area to retire and play their golf, and then for the winter head down to California or wherever. The world has changed, and that has to be addressed.